Assalamu alaikum. I have come across a hadith report, which says that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, ordered some people to drink the milk and urine of camels, as a medicine. The hadith seems to contradict notions of purity, of consumption of food and water in the Quran, and common sense. Moreover, the Prophet mutilated them for a crime that seems very conspicuous. What could be the right interpretation of this hadith? Is this hadith sound in terms of its content and narrators?
Salam. Thank you for writing to us. This incident has been reported, not just in one hadith collection, but in several books, and with many variations. According to the report that you've cited, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, advised these people to drink the milk and urine of camels. However, in a variant text, the Prophet is reported to have commanded them to consume only the milk of camels. The report is as follows. Narrated Anas, some people were sick, and they said, "O God's messenger, give us shelter and food." So when they became healthy they said, "The weather of Medina is not suitable for us." So he sent him to Al-Hara with some she-camels of his and said, "Drink of their milk." But when they became healthy, they killed the shepherd of the Prophet and drove away his camels. The Prophet sent some people in their pursuit. Then, he got their hands and feet cut, and their eyes were branded with heated pieces of iron. I saw one of them licking the earth with his tongue till he died. Bukhari, Hadith 5685. In another variant report, these men demanded to be provided with the milk of camels, and the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, suggested that they live with the herd of camels, where they consumed the camel's milk and urine of their own choice. Narrated Anas bin Malik, a group of 8 men from the tribe of Ukl came to the Prophet, peace be upon him, and then they found the climate of Medina unsuitable for them. So, they said, "O God's messenger, provide us with some milk." God's apostle said, "I recommend that you should join the herd of camels." So they went and drank the urine and the milk of the camels till they became healthy and fat. Then they killed the shepherd and drove away the camels, and they became unbelievers after they were Muslims. When the Prophet was informed by a shouter for help, he sent some men in their pursuit, and before the sun rose high, they were brought, and he had their hands and feet cut off. Then he ordered for nails which were heated and passed over their eyes, and they were left in the Hara, that is, rocky land in Medina. They asked for water, and nobody provided them with water till they died. Abu Kilaba, a sub-narrator said, "They committed murder and theft and fought against God and his apostle, and spread evil in the land." Bukhari, Hadith 3018. Another variant in the Hadith collection of Imam Bukhari is as follows. Narrated Anas, some people of the tribe of Ukl and Urine arrived at Medina to meet the Prophet, peace be upon him, and embraced Islam and said, "O God's Prophet, we are the owners of milch livestock, that is, Bedouins, and not farmers, that is, countrymen." They found the climate of Medina unsuitable for them. So God's messenger ordered that they should be provided with some milch camels and a shepherd, and ordered him to go out of Medina and to drink the camel's milk and urine. So they set out, and when they reached Al-Hara, they reverted to heathenism after embracing Islam, and killed the shepherd of the Prophet, and drove away the camels. When this news reached the Prophet, he sent some people in pursuit of them. So they were caught and brought back to the Prophet. The Prophet gave his orders about them. So, their eyes were branded with pieces of iron, and their hands and legs were cut off, and they were left away in Hara, till they died in that state of theirs. Bukhari, Hadith 4192. Another interesting report, probably of a different incident, is cited by Imam Abu Dawood in his Hadith collection. A man from Banu Amir said, "I embraced Islam, and my ignorance of the religion made me anxious to learn the essentials. I came to Abu Zar. He said, 'The climate of Medina did not suit me. The messenger of God, peace be upon him, ordered me to have a few camels and goats. He said to me, drink their milk.'" The narrator Ahmad said, "I doubt whether he, the Prophet, said, their urine." Abu Dawood said, "This is transmitted by Hamad bin Zaid from Ayyub. This version does not mention the words, their urine. This is not correct. The words, their urine, occur only in the version reported by Anas and transmitted only by the people of Basra." Abu Dawood, Hadith 333. In this report, the narrator was doubtful whether the Prophet, peace be upon him, commanded Abu Zar to drink the urine of the camels. Based on these historical facts, some scholars say that the suggestion to drink the urine of camels cannot be safely attributed to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Another possible interpretation of these hadith reports involves evaluating the variance of this reported incident and keeping the following points in consideration. The climate of Medina did not suit some people. The people of the tribe of Okl were the owners of milch livestock, that is, Bedouins, and not farmers, that is, countrymen. Given these 2 points, we can imagine that they were used to the environment where they were surrounded by camels, their smell, their milk and their urine. Based on this, and the corroboration from other hadith reports, some scholars interpret the phrase فَيَشْرَبُوا مِنْ أَلْبَانِهَا وَأَبْوَالِهَا figuratively, meaning, let them quench their thirst for the milk and the urine of camels. In other words, let them enjoy the environment of their milk and urine. If we accept that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, did indeed command them to drink the milk and the urine of camels, as medicine for their ailment, it was still not recommended as a routine food item. In those times, people normally treated their ailments with the things easily available in their environment. As a principle in our faith, even a food item that is normally considered impure and prohibited, haram, can be consumed as medicine, if nothing else is available to treat the disease. In such cases, the common restrictions of diet do not apply. The reports then go on to say, that after having recovered from their ailment, they killed the official herdsman and drove away the herd of camels. The Prophet Muhammad, in conformity with the directive of the Quran relating to crimes committed against the state, Surah Maida, chapter 5, verse 33, sentenced him to the punishment of amputation of hands and feet. There is only one part of these reports, which raises a question mark in one's mind. It seems strange that after having implemented the punishment prescribed in the Quran for crimes committed against the society, in general, why did the Prophet order their eyes to be branded? Most of the narratives do not provide an answer to this question. However, in one of the narratives reported in Ibn Jarid's Al-Muntaka, Anas, may God be pleased with him, is reported to have explained the reason for this punishment as well. He is reported to have said, "The Prophet branded their eyes because they had branded the eyes of the herdsman." Volume 1, page 216, entry number 847. This explanation adequately clarifies the fact that the Prophet ordered the branding of the eyes of the culprits, in compliance with the Quran's directive of Qisas, Surah 2, verse 178 and Surah 5, verse 45, for the punishment of murder and inflicting physical injury on someone. I hope the foregoing explanation provides a satisfactory perspective on these hadith reports.